Debbie, thank you so much for being here today and talking all things out of home with us. We're really excited to be at this great event that you're obviously a big part of. Let's start by talking about what's bringing us all together today, which is out of home. How do you think out of home can capture a larger share of ad spend? Because I've often heard it referred to being the small fish in a big pond. So what do you think needs to happen?
Yeah, I think that, today we're sitting at 4% of ad spend. Can you believe it? And it's like, it's so frustrating because we do so much great work. We have such a beautiful industry that gathers together. And, of course, we're often talking to ourselves in some of these industries, but I think what's really, really important we need to think about is, as out-of-home experts, we need to understand how out-of-home adds to each of the channels. And I think that's what's going to get us over this 4% hump. It's, you need to understand how TV works in the marketing mix. You need to understand how radio works, and so on and so forth. So you can sit with a marketer as an out-of-home expert and say, we know that out-of-home and radio drive a 15% lift, or we know that when you add out-of-home to television, it drives XYZ lift. And I think that's, us in the out-of-home industry, we've always been in out-of-home. Fine, like the people in out-of-home have always been in out-of-home. So it's about just taking a step outside of the channel and really thinking about how we play in all the other spaces, so that we can grow the channel collectively.
Exactly. It's not just existing in silos. We really need to communicate that whole omni-channel and full funnel journey.
Yeah, and then we talk about education, which, I find we do that all the time. It's like, don't ever stop educating. Don't ever stop educating planners, educating marketers, and really learning and educating yourself, because we really have to push. We are still really quite small across the globe. I mean, we're seeing numbers in the teens, in Europe, in Germany, in markets like that. But in North America, we're still 4 to 5% of ad spend, and we should be far greater than that.
For sure. I find it's been really encouraging, though, seeing such big brands on stage recognize the importance and the impact of out of home. So hopefully that continues to grow in the future.
Yeah, agree.
So Debbie, what do you think needs to happen for out of home to really play into the retail media network, specifically in store?
Yeah, I love this whole retail media buzz. Like, remember when it was like the year of mobile, and we've been talking about mobile for 10 years, and mobile has landed. I think retail media is going to land. I think there's so much work to be done. First and foremost, I think the retailers need to think about their infrastructure. Like, what does their foundation look like before us as out-of-home players and as advertisers get in and really think about how we connect with consumers. So I think there's this whole foundational shift that has to happen. Get your infrastructure kind of ready to go for retail. Get the screens that are all, either similar sizes. Get, the platforms like a Broadsign or, any one of the programmatic platforms, plugged in, so that we as buyers can go in and buy this inventory seamlessly. I think that's the first step, is sort of foundational and structure. I think what retail media needs to think about too is what's happening on the outside of their stores. And so I think that's where out-of-home plays such a key role in this journey, in a customer's journey, because we always talk about path to purchase when we're in out-of-home. We think about, you're in your car and you're listening to your radio and you're seeing a transit shelter, or you're looking at a screen on a highway. And we know how to get people into store. Can you imagine if we can work collaboratively with retail to connect those dots, to understand of those people who we got into your store actually made a purchase? So I think there's tons of work to do in terms of partnerships and collaborations, and it just makes out-of-home even bigger. So I think it's going to grow retail, the retail media network, but it's going to grow the out-of-home pie as well.
Absolutely, and it's like what you were saying with Susan on stage from Kruger. We're so good at the before and the after, but it's that during piece that I think needs to expand on.
But it's exciting. Like, the industry is growing. It's 126 billion globally. It's about 3 billion in Canada. So I think we need to partner more. Get the sort of the base right. It's almost like back to basics, get your foundation right, and then let's start to collaborate
for sure
on how we can speak to each other and connect with each other so that we can connect to consumers.
Definitely. As a female leader in out of home, what advice would you give to women who are wanting to further and advance their careers in the ad tech space?
I would say, first and foremost, believe in yourself. We're so hard on ourselves. We always think we can't do that, or we can't go for that. senior role, or no, they're not going to think I'm smart enough or good enough. And we are. And sometimes it's like, even if you might not have the exact experience on a job description, go for it, because we can do it. And so I always just encourage women to go for it, lean in. And because I know, and I've seen mentoring so many young women, that they can do it. And, another big thing is just always be curious. I always think to, always learn, always educate yourself, and be curious about things, because that's what'll just get you moving and get you ahead.
And I think it's great to have resources like we do that maybe didn't exist X amount of years ago. So it's really encouraging for even people like myself who are just starting in the industry to see the advancement opportunities and have access to mentorship. So it's
Exactly, yeah, just be part of it, and really it's that lean in. I love that Sheryl Sandberg wrote a book, because that's exactly what it is. Don't sit at the back of a boardroom table, sit at the table.
Exactly.
Because you should be there.